Hello and welcome back to the Thriving with Chels podcast. Today we're going to take the conversation in a little bit of a different direction to usual. And when I say usual, I mean like the first 3 episodes because this is only episode 4, but I wanted to have a conversation about this because it is taking up like a bit of my life at the moment. And I feel like, yes, I want this podcast to be mainly about like nutrition, weight loss, improving your relationship with food, habits, but I also want to share more about my life. I want to just talk about things I want to talk about. And the thing I want to talk about today is a wedding because I'm getting married. Whenever I say married, I feel like I need to say it in an accent, but I think it's because in my brain, I feel like I'm still a teenager. So the thought of getting married is really weird, but I'm also not a teenager. I'm 28 years old. So I definitely am at the age where I can be getting married, but I think I have to kind of like pretend it's a joke because it just feels so ridiculous. Like I feel like a teenager, but I'm absolutely not. So I wanted to speak about my wedding and what my plans are and kind of, I am probably doing things in a bit of a different way to a lot of people. And I want to speak about that because I feel like when I think about a wedding, I think about like the big traditional wedding where it's like 100 people are spending $100,000 on this wedding and it's this huge thing. I have never really cared for that. When Dan and I were kind of deciding what we wanted to do for our wedding, I always kind of was like, I don't really know. And he was like, well, what do you mean you don't know? Like, don't girls don't they really want to do, like, don't they like dream about this? Like we watch movies and it's all about like girls being like, oh, I've dreamt of this day my whole life. And to be honest, no, like not in a pick me way, but like I'm not somebody that's ever been obsessed with the idea of having a big wedding. I've never been somebody who's envisioned themselves in like a white dress. Like it's just not really something that has ever interested me that much, but I do know I want to be married. Like I want to marry Dan. I want to have some type of celebration, but I just never felt like a big traditional wedding was the route I wanted to go down. So I'm doing things, and when I say I mean we, but I'm going to say I because it's my podcast. We are doing things a little bit differently, and I wanted to talk about that and just kind of like share an update. So right now it is July, end of July, and we are getting married in December. I'm going to say early December. I'm not going to say the exact date, but we're getting married early December, which will mean we're getting married pretty much exactly a year after we got engaged. So we got engaged on December 19th, 2025, and we're getting married early December 2026. Now, I think that is like in the grand scheme of things a quick turnaround for a wedding. I think most people, I want to say, take maybe more like a year and a half, 2 years. Again, I don't really know. I've only ever actually been to one wedding. So that's a fun fact. I'm 28 years old and I've been to one wedding, but I think people usually take a little bit longer, but I think it's probably because with a traditional wedding, it probably requires a bit more planning and money and things like that. So that is kind of our timeline. So again, it's the end of July, which means we're still a few months away, but it definitely feels like things are ramping up and it's getting a little bit closer. And for somebody who, again, like I've never been that excited about the idea of a wedding, I'm a little bit more excited now. Now that it's getting closer, I'm like, oh, this is a little bit fun. Nothing's causing me stress. And when I kind of talk you through how we're doing things, you'll be like, well, obviously that's not causing you stress because that sounds like the most casual, laid back wedding I've ever heard of. And that's the goal. Like, I just want it to be enjoyable. I just want to have fun. I want to marry Dan and I want that to be the focus. I don't want it to be this huge event that I feel like I'm throwing just for everyone else. And again, that's just like my personal, like, I'm not a big wedding person. It's never something I've cared of. If you are somebody that had a big wedding, you want to have a big wedding, I love that for you. I would love to come to your wedding because, as I said, I've only been to one. Like, I love attending weddings. I loved attending the one wedding I've been to. I love the idea of going to weddings, but it's just not necessarily what I want to do personally. So our kind of plan, again, I don't want to give it all away. Not that I think I'm like that important that I need to keep it all a secret, but I do want there to be like some element of surprise. So I'm not going to tell you everything, but basically what we're doing instead of a traditional wedding is we are doing a wedding weekend, which sounds so much more over the top than what it is, but I kind of have fun calling it that because it does sound dramatic and over the top. But basically what we're doing is just we're breaking up like the wedding over 2 days. So on the Friday, we're going to the courthouse, which if you're in Melbourne, it's not actually a courthouse. I don't think it's a courthouse anywhere in Australia. I think that's a really American thing, but people refer to it as the courthouse. We're going to the old Treasury building in Melbourne City, and we are legally going to get married there. We're just going to have immediate family and like my best friend there. That is what the Friday is going to be. We're going to do a lunch afterwards. We'll do photos. That will be the day where I wear more of like my wedding dress. That's a conversation we'll get to in a second. And then the Saturday, we're doing our reception, and that's going to be still small. Like, I think we've got 35 people coming. Like, it's very small still, but it's more like extended family, a few more of like Dan's friends and things like that. Again, I have like one friend, so Jess, shout out Jess, she is coming to both days because she's my best friend. But he'll have more of his friends coming to the second day. He'll have his best friend there on the Friday, and we'll do more of like a party reception. Now, we are doing the reception at my parents' house in their backyard, which might sound a little like, I don't know. I think in the past, like if I was 18 and someone was like, you can get married in your parents' backyard, I would have been like, that's embarrassing. But I think that's because when you're 18, you're kind of just an asshole and judgmental. Whereas now I'm like, oh no, it's fun. Like it's sweet. I'm excited. I don't like, honestly, I haven't said it yet. I don't want to spend a lot of money on this day. If I'm being completely honest, like I want to marry Dan. I want to be married. I want to have a celebration, but I have absolutely no desire to spend thousands and thousands and thousands. And when I say thousands, I mean like $30,000+. I did a poll or a question box on my Instagram probably about a month ago where I just asked people like, hey, if you're comfortable sharing, because I'm nosy, how many people came to your wedding and how much money did you spend? And when I tell you, I had low-key a heart attack reading those messages and responses. I am serious. People spending upwards of like $150,000 on their wedding, having hundreds and hundreds of people there. Again, love that for you. If that's what you want to do, that's amazing. Again, I wish I was there. If you're going to invite 150 people, feel free to throw me an invite. I would love to be there, but I don't want to do that myself. One, I don't have a big circle. I have my one best friend. I'm close with my family. You know, I have a very small circle. So I don't even know 150 people, to be honest. I'd have to invite all my clients because I don't know 150 people. And personally, I don't want to spend a crazy amount of money. I would rather spend my money elsewhere. Like we would love to buy a new house. Like I'd love to move. I don't necessarily want to spend crazy amount of money on my wedding. So I don't know how in depth I'll go with the money of it all. If people are interested and they want me to kind of like break down how much we spend post wedding, I feel like I could do an episode talking about that. But again, keeping in mind, we're doing it in my parents' backyard. So like we're not paying for a venue, which I know is like one of the biggest expenses. We're getting married at the courthouse. It is going to be more low key. I'll be honest though, it's still adding up. So my goal is, which still feels like a crazy amount of money, my goal is to spend $10,000 as a max on my wedding, which for some people, they'll be like, that's never going to happen. For some people, they'll be like, I wish I only spent $10,000. For some people, they'll be like, $10,000 still sounds like a lot of money. And I'm with you. $10,000 does still sound like a lot of money. And I'm like, no more than $10,000, please. Again, I don't want to like speak about it like it's this thing that I don't care about, because I do care. I want to be married. Like I have people in my life, they're like, oh, I don't even care about being married. I want to be married, but I don't care about the big wedding of it all. That's just like, I think for me, it's just scary that it's one day. Like, I know how quick a day goes. It's over before you know it. I don't know if I can be spending $50,000 on one day. And so many people who replied to my question box said they spent, I think the most common response was like $40,000, which that's like a good chunk towards a house deposit. And again, no judgment, but that's just like not how I can see myself spending my money right now. Who knows? Maybe in like another 10, 20 years, we'll like remarry each other. Obviously, I'm not planning on marrying somebody else. So maybe we'll like renew our vows and we'll do something massive. But again, because I don't have a big circle, I have a small family. Dan has a small family. We have very close like circle of friends. It's not a priority for me. So my goal is to spend $10,000 on our wedding weekend. And I'm really excited about it. Like now that it's getting closer, we're like organizing a few more random details, but I have a little list of just a few things I wanted to touch on in this conversation. So Yes, I said, like, I've never dreamt of a big wedding. I've never dreamt of wearing like a white wedding dress. Like, it's just not something that has been something I've looked forward to in my life. And that's not to say now I'm not going to get married or have a wedding, but I'm just going to do it in a way that actually excites me and excites Dan as well, because obviously it's his wedding as well. This is a topic I want to speak about because I've had a few people ask me about this. They're like, are you doing like a wedge shred, or are you going to like create content around like, your wedding diet or like losing weight for the wedding and things like that? And to be completely honest, I thought about it because I know that that type of content on Instagram will perform so well in terms of like views and engagement. And obviously, Instagram's kind of my job. So I do have to think about those things. But no, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily like doing a specific thing to wedge shred, or I'm going to create like a wedge shred series on social media, mainly because I'm not really doing anything different to what I have been doing the last 18 months that has caused me to gain has caused me to lose over 25 kilos now. I am eating in a calorie deficit. Yes, I want to lose weight for my wedding, but I want to lose. If I wasn't getting married at the end of this year, I would still be on my weight loss journey again. I've lost 25 kilos. I want to probably lose another like 10, maybe 15. So I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm hitting my steps. I'm drinking my water. I'm being a little bit more, I don't want to say strict, but I've definitely, like, the first half of this year, I've been a little bit looser with like probably more dining out and more like days going over my calories than I will be kind of moving into the second half of this year. I would say I'm more so like locking in now, but I'm definitely not like personally wanting to create like wedge shred content for social media because I'm not really doing anything different. And I don't think that just because you're getting married, you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to do this crazy extreme diet and I'm going to do a crazy amount of workouts. Like, I've been going to PT twice a week since the start of the year. I'm going to continue going to PT twice a week because I don't want to go more than twice a week. I don't feel the need to go more than twice a week. I have increased my steps a little bit, but that's really the only thing that's changed is I'm now moving forward. I'm increasing my steps. My calories are kind of staying the same. I've taken regular diet breaks throughout the year. Everything else stays the same, except I'm literally just going to be walking a little bit more. But no, I'm not doing anything crazy. Again, I want to lose weight, but it's not necessarily for the wedding. I want to lose weight full stop. Yes, do I want to feel confident and happy with how I look at my wedding? Yes, I'm not going to pretend like that's not the case. But as I said, like, I've been on a weight loss journey for the last year and a half or so. I would be continuing my weight loss journey if I was getting married or if I was not getting married. But I would say, yes, I am technically in a deficit. I'm not necessarily calling it like a wedge shred because I'm not doing anything that different, but I won't be creating content around it because it's no different to what I'm doing right now. It would just have like a name of like wedge shred, which I don't really love the idea of that. So yeah, that's my wedge shred update. Nothing really changes. It's kind of just my normal. But I do want to feel really confident on my wedding day, but I also know that like for a lot of people that would be as small as possible, and for me that's not the case. Like, I don't need to be 45 kilos and a size 6 to feel my most confident. I would just want to, be a little lose a little bit more weight, and I'd be happy. Again, like, I it's weird when you're in this is a side conversation, but whatever. My job as a nutrition coach, especially like an online nutrition coach where Instagram is like basically my workplace, it's very easy to look at people who have like who are very small, who are very lean, who, weigh 50 kilos and they're a size 6 and they have a visible six pack and all of these things, and think like that's what I need to be in my business, or that's what I need to be the most confident, or that's what I need to be the healthiest. And I just don't really feel that way. Do I want to lose a little bit more weight? And will I feel more confident there? Yes. Do I need to be teeny tiny? No. For me, it would not align with my business for me to be someone who's like has a six pack, because my whole business is about helping women lose weight but also improve their relationship with food while also eating what they love. It's not about losing weight and being the most shredded fit version of yourself where you're super strict with your nutrition and you never go out for meals, and like that's not my business. That's not my vibe. yes, I want to lose a little bit more weight, but I will never be like the teeny tiny nutrition coach, influencer, Instagram model because I don't think I have that in me, even if I tried. And I don't want to. I just want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to live a life where I can go out for meals with the people that I love and I eat chocolate every single day and I don't struggle with binge eating like I used to. And I've got balance and I'm healthy and all of these things. I can move my body, going to PT. Like I love feeling stronger. I love hitting my steps and having a higher step target at the moment and like working towards that every day. Like that makes me feel healthy. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel energized. I love sleeping well. I love hydrating. I love, all of these things, but I don't necessarily have this desire to be like the smallest version of me because I don't think that aligns with my whole business and my whole messaging. And I don't think that the happiest and healthiest version of you is the smallest version of you. I think it's like somewhere in the middle. So that's what I'm aiming for, that like somewhere in the middle. But that's a little side tangent for you. But what did you expect? You know me, I'm always going to have a side tangent. Okay, so I wanted to touch on that. I spoke about my budget, which is aiming for around $10,000. Again, things cost more money than you realize. Like even organizing like makeup is so expensive. So I've booked a makeup artist who's going to do my makeup on the Friday. So the day we actually get like legally married. And then I'm going to, hopefully you can only book an appointment 3 months out. So I have to wait another month or so, book a Mecca appointment for the Saturday morning and go to Mecca and get my makeup done there for the Saturday. Because again, I don't want to spend another $500 getting my makeup done twice. And because we're doing it over a weekend, that does mean some of the expenses are kind of doubled because we're doing it across 2 days. I can't wear the same makeup Friday and Saturday. Trust me, I thought about it. So there's little things I'm doing to try to like save money because I know me. I don't want to say I'm going to do my own makeup because I do my own makeup on a day-to-day basis and I want to feel more done up. But I also know that I'm not going to look back in 10 years' time and be like, oh, I'm so glad I spent an extra $500 to have someone come do my makeup the second day instead of spending 100 and something bucks at Mecca to get it done. And also, when you get it done at Mecca, you get to take the products home with you, which feels like a gift to myself. I'm also 98% sure that I'm doing my own hair for my wedding, which I haven't really told anyone because I feel like people are going to be like, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Because I can and I want to and I don't care. And I think I'm pretty good at doing my hair. So I think I'm going to do my own hair. But moral of the story is even with like $10,000, which sounds like it's a lot of money, full stop. But in terms of wedding talk, not a lot of money. Things do add up quick, like photographer, makeup. Obviously, we're doing a lunch, alcohol, like even just like buying, like I've got a vision for how we're going to set up my parents' backyard, even buying all the little bits and pieces for that. We've been doing op shopping. I've been buying things off Facebook Marketplace, but it still adds up. So I am interested to see whether we stick to the 10,000. I'm feeling pretty like I want to, like, you know how sometimes you set a budget, but you're like, oh, I don't really care. I want to stick to the 10,000. So I'm interested to see if it's possible. In terms of budget, dress. So I will have 2 different dresses. Again, I'm kind of like not making it easy for myself to not spend a lot of money because I'm like, well, I'm going to do a low-key wedding, but I'm going to do it over 2 days. So I have to buy double the amount of things, which again, this is like exciting to me doing it this way. So I'm excited. I am glad we're doing it this way, but I'm going to be wearing 2 dresses. So I'll have a dress for the Friday and then I'll have a dress for the Saturday. For the Friday, again, that's going to be the more like formal day. So I'm planning on wearing a long dress on that day. And then on the Saturday, because it's more like reception fun, I think I'll wear a little shorter dress. I have actually, as of like 2 days ago, ordered a dress online. When I tell you I'm type B, please believe me. Like I'm very type B. I have ordered a dress online or the Friday. So like for my actual, I'm going to say like my actual wedding dress. I ordered it online. Obviously I haven't tried it on. I haven't actually ever bought a dress from this place. And I just like, oh yeah, I could probably wear that. And it's coming tomorrow in the mail because I got free express shipping. Let's go. So that's going to come. And I'm really crossing my fingers that I'm going to put that on and be like, yep, perfect. Because I just don't really want to, I thought about the idea of like booking dress appointments and going and trying on dresses, and I'm not against it. There's still maybe a small part of me that will, depending on how this dress goes that's coming in the mail. But again, that doesn't really excite me. I know that buying an actual wedding dress when it's like labeled wedding dress instead of just like white long dress, it's like thousands of dollars, which again, doesn't really interest me at all, I'll be honest. So I'm really hoping my dress that I've just ordered online works well, because I would love to just tick that box and then look for my dress for the Saturday, which is going to be more like fun, short, casual vibes. But that's my plan for the dresses. I'm really excited about the dress that I've ordered, so I hope it works out. I hope it works out. It's a little bit rogue, but I'm not going to say any more, because if it works out, it's going to eat, you could say. Okay, another thing I wanted to touch on is, am I changing my last name? Now, I feel like it's obviously the most common thing to change your last name. I would say even though now more women don't change their last name, I would still say, I don't know statistically, I'm pulling this out of my ass, but I would assume most women still do change their last name. Am I changing my last name? Yes, I will be legally changing my last name. However, I won't be, I said this to Dan, I was like, legally, yes, I will change my name. I will not be changing my stage name. So I won't be changing like my Instagram to Dan's last name. One, because I like the privacy of like me as a person will have Dan's last name. It's not a secret. You could obviously find Dan's last name. I'm not trying to like hide it, but being like, that's my actual name. And then now with my Instagram and everything that I've built up over 5 years, and, you know, I've built a personal brand around, I will keep the same. So yeah, I legally, yes, will change it, mainly because if and when we have kids, I want to have the same last name as my kids, and I wouldn't want either Dan or I to have different last names to our kids. Like, I know people are like, oh, well, you can give your kids your last name. I know that, but I don't want Dan to have different last name to his kids either. So I will have Dan's last name, then our kids will have our last name. So yes, I will be changing my name, but not my stage name, is what I've been saying to people. Also, I don't know if I should be saying this on the podcast, but I don't think anyone actually cares. Dan and I bought our house coming up to 4 years ago, which means I've had a different address for 4 years. I haven't really changed my address on most things. So all my mails 4 years later still goes to my parents' house. So like, I'm saying I'll legally change my name, but I don't think it's going to be something I do quickly, because I don't like paperwork. I'm a type B girl. One thing about me is, if it's not like admin paperwork that I need to do for my business, I'm probably not going to do it. So every time I see my parents, whenever they come over for dinner or I go there, they always like hand me mail. They're like, oh, this came for you. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? And I don't hate it. What's the rush? It's fine. Maybe I'll change it when we move into our next house. Okay. So yes, it's a two-day wedding weekend is what I'm calling it. It's, again, small. I think we're having about 15 people on the Friday for the ceremony, and then the reception on the Saturday is more like 35 people. But the 15 for the ceremony is literally just immediate family and my best friend and Dan's best friend. Like, that's it. So very, very small. Yeah, that's my wedding update. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I will say, if you are throwing a wedding, even if you're like doing a more traditional wedding, do not sleep on Facebook Marketplace and op shops, because I am not really a Facebook Marketplace person. I'm not an op shop person really at all, but I have decided, because I want to not spend crazy amount of money on the wedding, I was gonna do those things. And I think I might have mentioned this in the first episode, because I went off on a side tangent, but I have a vision for how we're going to set up my parents' backyard. And I want like these beautiful white umbrellas that have like the fringe around them. And ever I looked online, they're literally $500 per umbrella. And I was like, absolutely fucking not. Like, I'm not spending $500 on an umbrella. Literally suck my dick. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it's too late now. So I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, couldn't find anything. Then one day, a girl was selling 2 of them for $230. So if you want certain things, even if you want it for your house, don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe I'm like late to the Facebook Marketplace party, but we went and picked those up. Dan set one up yesterday in our backyard. So nice. So now I can either resell them after the wedding, or we can keep them and have them in our backyard, because they're actually gorge. So don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace, and also don't sleep on op shop. So I have a vision, as I keep saying, for how we're going to like decorate my parents' backyard. We're going to do like a big charcuterie table. So like, charcuterie feels like the fancy word. I would say like a big cheese platter table, but that does sound a little bogan. But we're going to do a big cheese platter table, and I want to do it all on like the like beautiful like silver uh not dining, silver like serving trays and like plates and platters. And I was looking on Facebook Marketplace and people are selling like one silver platter for like $80. And I was like, surely fucking not. So my best friend, she said, you should look at the op shop. So I went op shopping with my parents the other week, and do not buy those silver platters off Marketplace because people are ripping you off. This would be a good business idea because I can guarantee people would want these silver platters. They would go on Marketplace, see them for like 60, 70, $80 and buy them. But I went to the op shops. I went to like 10 different op shops in one day, and they're everywhere. And they're a fraction of the price, like ranging from maybe like 10 to $20. Some of the more expensive places, they were 30, but I was like, I'm not paying 30. So you do not need to buy things. Even on Marketplace, people might try to rip you off. So try the op shops because got heaps of them, gonna polish them up. It's gonna look so good. Also bought some fabric, which I'm not gonna tell you what the fabric's for because I've got to keep some type of excitement, but I bought some fabric off Facebook Marketplace from this beautiful old lady. I think her name was Kathy. She gave me a great deal. It was so funny. I got to her house and I could tell because through her Facebook Marketplace that she was like an older woman who was selling me this fabric, which love. She was so delightful to deal with. She was a bit slow on the replies because I don't think she's on her phone as much as someone like me. Anyway, she sent me her address and I was like, I'll be there at 11:30 a.m. And I got there and I knock on the door. Beautiful house, by the way. Like literally had a beach in their backyard. And you might be like, Chelsea, how did you know they have a beach in their backyard? Oh, well, she invited me in. Basically gave me a house tour. So I got to the front door and I rang the doorbell and I assume her husband, he was lovely, answered the door and he was like, hi. And I was like, oh, hi, I'm here to pick up a Facebook Marketplace order. And he was like, oh, come on in. And in that moment I thought, they're probably not going to kill me, so I'll just go in. And I'm here today, so they didn't kill me. If they weren't cute old people, I probably wouldn't have gone in. He was like, come on in, it's cold out there. It was cold, so I came on in, walked me all the way through the house, and I really was like, this feels like everything my parents would tell me not to do, of like, go on Facebook Marketplace, buy something, go to a random person's house. I didn't also tell anyone I was going there, which usually I'm good. Like, if I'm going somewhere that I haven't been before, I'll like message my best friend or Dan or my mum, be like, I'm going here from this time to this time, just in case something happens. I didn't do that. So really could have abducted me, but thankfully they didn't. And thankfully they just gave me a great deal on all this fabric that I need for my vision. So shout out Facebook Marketplace, shout out op shops. If you want to spend less money on a wedding that's just going to cost you money, full stop, highly recommend getting into Facebook Marketplace and op shops because I found some steals so far, and it's kind of fun. Like, it feels like a bit of a treasure hunt, like when you go into the op shop and you know what you're looking for and you're like, do they have it? Quite fun. Would recommend. So that is pretty much what I'm doing for my wedding, and that's where we're at so far. There's definitely still things that I need to do. The main thing I need to do is book the lunch for the Friday after the ceremony because I'm having trouble because people either are like, oh, we don't accept bookings more than 3 months in advance, or people are like, we're already booked out, or people are like, if you are booking for more than 10 people, you have to pay for the feed me menu, which is $80 per person. I'm like, I'm not paying $80 per person just for food. Doesn't include drinks. Absolutely not. So that's the only thing that I would say. It's not causing me stress because that would be crazy if that was causing me stress. It's definitely not causing me stress, but that's the only thing on my to-do list that I'm like, ooh, that I need to give maybe a little bit more of my attention to. But other than that, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm excited to do some more like op shopping, Facebook Marketplacing, DIYing some things. I'm mainly just excited to get married. Like, I like the idea of being married. Dan and I have been together for over 9.5 years. It'll be like 2 months away from 10 years when we get married. So like, we've been together a long time. I am excited to be married, but I am excited to have like a fun little wedding weekend with just like our close circle of people. I think it's going to be really, really fun, and I'm excited to do an episode about it post-wedding. I think I will. I think I'll like, I've been writing down what I'm spending on everything, so I'll come back. I can tell you what I spent on everything. I can tell you what I think was worth the money, what was not worth the money, and I can just like give you all the details if you care. And even if you don't, I probably will just do it because it feels like fun. So that is where I'm at. I hope you've enjoyed this like kind of more random lifestyle about me episode. If there is anything you want to hear me speak about that isn't necessarily related to like nutrition, weight loss, habits, like my normal things, let me know. Like as I always say, I'm a yapper, so I'm happy to talk pretty much about anything. One thing about me is I can talk about anything. So anything you want me to talk about, again, whether it is my business or social media or, like I think it was last episode I mentioned like that I'm trying to really not I'm trying to be in my under consumption era, like not spending money on just random stuff. If you want me to talk about that, if you want me to talk about relationships, if you want to talk about whatever you want me to talk about, just message me on Instagram. Let me know. I will also say, what was I going to say? It left my brain. Oh, quickly on my under consumption era. God, this has been like an all over the place conversation, but that's just having a conversation with yourself because it's just me. So I just have to keep it going. Anyway, my goal for this year was like, I don't want to spend money on clothes. I don't want to buy clothes. I feel like last year I just bought so many fucking clothes and so many outfits and all this and spent so much money on it. I was like, this year I don't need any more clothes, which is probably why when you look at me, you're like, Chelsea's kind of always repeating the same 5 outfits. Yeah, I am. Because not only am I not buying clothes, I also have lost 25 kilos. So 90% of my wardrobe does not fit me. Anyway, I don't want to buy any clothes. So I actually realized when I ordered what will hopefully be my wedding dress the other day, that is the first clothing item I've purchased all year. And it's the end of July. So I'm pretty proud of that. So wanted to add that in about my underconsumption era. Proud of myself for that. But yeah, if there's anything you want me to speak about, send me a DM on Instagram. If you like this episode, again, please let me know. Please rate the podcast 5 stars. If you haven't, you literally just tap the little stars, press 5-star. Helps me out a lot. It helps push the podcast out to more people. And if there's anything you want me to speak about, episode requests, DM me. I love you. Don't forget to subscribe. And as you guys know, if you're an avid listener of the first 4 episodes of Thriving with Chels, new episodes drop every single Monday at 6 a.m. So set your reminder. It's a good way to start your week. Just me, you having a little chat while you either get your steps in, drive to work, whatever. I'm going to wrap this up because clearly I just want to talk and I'm not going to shut up unless I force myself to. I hope you have the best day. Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much and I will speak to you all in the next episode. Bye, my loves.